if anything looks goofy with the video, let me know. If things look hopefully improved video quality as well. Let me move this terminal here so you can, so I'm not blocking the thing in effect. I only don't want to move it. I kind of want to make it bigger, both for my eyes and for the stream as well. All right. Give it a little bit more. We'll do something like this. Okay, so where we left off, we were looking at this, right? We had issues with this debug statement. When we take it away, it works. When we don't take it away, it doesn't work. And in fact, we get things like this. Makes Phoenix server when it tries to go, tries to build, compiles, and we get some stuff here. So, and then there's clearly an issue with this debug statement. When we take this out, stuff just works. So what are our clues here? We got a lot of different things going on. I want to make sure that we kind of think through this as this goes. So one of the clues that I found, right, that we talked about last time is that there's two kinds of embedded thingies. There's the percent equals and then just the percent, right? So there it is. Now you can see it working, right? So let me just nudge this over. So we get a nice little, okay. So that's working. We still, all this red is because we haven't set up a database yet. We'll get to that eventually. So when we save this here now, it should recompile and it should give us the error message. Now, what we saw is we're getting some weird things. Right? Are there any clues? Right? We got a couple, right? But first, just by staring at this and go through the documentation, right, we can start to make some things. In the request lifecycle, right, original question, and again, one of the things you're doing when you're learning, one of the best things you can do is just write down the questions you have. Difference between percent equals, let's see, no, it's bracket, percent equals, percent close bracket, and the ones without the things. So writing down your questions is a great way to learn, right? Because it helps you remember all the things that you need to ask when you get access to experts. You know, if you, when you're able to really codify and clearly, succinctly come up with a question that has a discrete answer. When you come up with it by accident, then you're going to have a better time recognizing the answer when it's staring you in the face. Now, in our case here, there's something here, right? What we're seeing is that the initial tag has an equal sign, right? So what we're saying is only the initial tag has an equal sign, all right? Now, that tells me that there's some magic going on here, right? Meaning that every time there's an equal sign, the parser inside the EEX, and if you remember, we have a vocabulary section that tells us EEX is embedded Elixir, right? That means the parser inside the EEX template processor, right, calls this, it starts here, right? And it basically says there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and then it's taking this extra end statement here, I believe. And then it's stopping, right? So that tells me I don't think I can embed trues inside of, I don't think I can embed this three statement clause inside of this string end clause, or this end is, or excuse me, this for and this end clause. Something about this for clause here and this end clause here, something about embedding is it's going a little crazy, and I'm not exactly sure why, right? So we have some things we can try, right? I'm not sure what those are yet, but we're gonna figure it out, right? It could be, right, that it's not anything to do with position, right? You know, like having it nested inside like this is okay. But the equal sign here, it seems to say that if the equal sign were missing, the code would still be executed, but the value. So like it doesn't embed values and stuff. Now, for this debug statement, clearly the reason this is compiling is because we have this entire text statement here, which is intended to bust us up, right? So let's just comment that out for now, all right? Because this is next time, so we're now technically we're at this time. And we still have errors, and we get this anonymous function 3. Now, if you remember, 3 is the arity. That means how many arguments are there? And I wonder if it's talking about 1, 2, 3 here, or 1, 2, 3 here, just the number of tags here, right? You know, that's a little bit suspicious, right? And we can even try that out by just blowing those away. And does that change? This is a quick little experiment. It takes us just a few seconds, and we're learning something, right? Kind of like Edison. He tried out thousands of different materials before he came up with the correct one for tungsten. So that didn't change at all. So that must not have anything to do with the number of arguments there. But we do know that it's something to do with this true, undefined function true, right? So, and we know that this is embedded Elixir, and we know that true should be an atom. So what if we try and force it to be true like that? What do we get? Okay, well that worked. So if true. All right, so that worked. And our page that we should be at is to do. And me too. So what we were hoping to see here, true and false depending on the state of true. So here we're seeing these boxes checked true, right? So we're printing true because of this statement here, and we're seeing from this if statement, we're taking this branch of the if statement because this is true, right? Now, can we do, now our issue was that we had some trouble converting this, some other stuff here. So TL to do, so there's some false up here. So this one should be toggling, if I recall correctly, we had false, true, false. So do we see false, true, false in there? I don't know. Maybe not. Oh, that's what's goofy. This is just, we didn't embed this in anything. So what if we do it like this? Embed to existing atom. So now we expect to see false, true, false. And it blows away. Called with 2 arguments. False, true, false. Oh. It's giving on, this is a list of strings. That's not good. So this returns not the tail, not the end. It's returning the list of strings, right? So the first item, I don't know if you remember, the head of a thing and tail. So let's go back to our Elixir documentation. Where was it? That was the string stuff. So we want Elixir head tail. Let's just get smarter about this stuff. Okay, so tail isn't the last item. Tail is probably a list of everything but the top. So this is very lispy, you know, the cider, catter, cider. I can't remember the terminology, but there's very common ways to get the first item and then whatever is the last item. So I'm not getting the last item here, so that's probably part of my issue. So let's see, linked lists. Here's what we want. Is this where we learned about head and tail? Oh, here it is. Yep. So head returns the first one, tail returns a list of everything remaining. So that's what we want. And we don't want that, right? What we do want is, we're just going to hack this here. This is not a very elegant way to get the second item. Because I think we could just get the second item by using false, true, false. Look at that. All right. So now we can pull this guy out, put it in there. Oh, what did we get? So close. Oh, I bet it's this thing here. I bet that thing just is not happy. Compile, compile. Oh, nope, still not happy. All right, so we're pretty close here. Okay, so false, true, false. So that is doing the atoms. No, those are strings to existing atom. So that tells me if I do it like this first one, so this one here is just the string, and this one here we're converting it to an atom. False, false, true, true, false, false, which I think is correct. Now why does string to existing atom not work? Let's look at this one again here. So we're getting closer. We're in the neighborhood. We're going back to the documentation. Let's see if there is any more clues in some of this messaging, error messages as well. So T converts a string to an existing atom. My atom. Okay. It's to atom. What's the difference there? So Booleans are just atoms on the inside. So I think that's why I'm confused, because now this should work here. All right, but let's simplify this. String to existing atom. What if we just put true in here like this? Do we need something goofy like this colon thing? I'm just guessing. Nope, that was not it. Do we not need the question mark? We don't need the question mark. Why did we not need the question mark? Let's look. Let's learn something about to-do statements, if statements, case conditions, and if and unless. If do end, unless true do end. Oh. So that's kind of cool. There is a unless is like an inverted if. Never heard of unless before. Never seen that in languages, and I've done a bunch of languages. It's a cool little syntax. I'll go through a list of languages one of these days that I've gone through, but it's not super relevant now. We started so late. We'll just let it go. Shout out to my viewer there. Thank you for coming on in and taking a peek at what I'm doing. All right. Now, let's see, what else do we got here? Okay, so now we got this. Now that we've solved that question mark, I guess the answer is, what is the question mark for? All right. Let's just kind of play around here for a little bit. Do I need the question mark if I'm just doing regular old atoms there? Let's do false. Well, that went away. I don't need the question mark. So where are we getting that question mark from? That was in the views and templates page in terms of rendering templates somewhere. We had that question mark. If some condition, question mark. Is this an Erlang syntax that has nothing to do specifically with Elixir? Or excuse me, is this a Elixir thing that has nothing to do with Phoenix or the framework. Let's see, we got some fairly standard comparison operators. Pattern matching. Match operator. That's weird. Pinning is a curious concept. All right. Let's just do this. Elixir question mark. Oh, look at this, Google sorting us out. It is an Elixir thing. What do they mean with the function example? Enum empty. Okay, so it's just a convention, it sounds like. A type of function that returns a Boolean. Compilation. Named function, nothing special here. Naming convention, oh, it's a convention. Naming conventions. Look at this. Okay, so that's just a name. The question mark. The reason we're getting question marks is because the question mark doesn't ever belong here, right? It was occasionally, if you have a function that returns a Boolean, you just have this naming convention to use this question mark. Oh, okay, so there, we solved that. That's an important concept. So we've learned a bunch of things, Elixir. We briefly talked about pinning, and this is related to using equal to compare versus using equal to set a variable, assign a variable. We learned naming convention. What did we learn? We learned returns bool, use the question mark, use trailing question mark. And there was another one about use the bang, but I don't know, we'll go back. And we just know that if we see a bang, there's some convention around it. But we don't know about trailing bang. Here it is. Raises an exception. Oh, use the bang for function or macros that potentially raise exceptions. I guess that's just polite. Sometimes you don't want exceptions mucking with your code flow. They're basically go-tos. So you don't really want those hanging out if you can help it. It's very polite of people to use this convention there. Look at this, there's a whole bunch more naming conventions. We're actually just kind of pop this guy here. There should be a link to the entire naming conventions. And then we're gonna, or just pop it in there. So now we can go straight to it. Next time we need to quickly look at naming conventions. Look at this, we got our own little user guide, right? Perfectly customized to us. What we're trying to figure out here. Uh-oh, I'm seeing an error. All right, I don't know if I lost anyone. My system is telling me the connection is quite poor. Good, all right, we're back to good. Hopefully I didn't lose anyone too much. Okay. So next is, okay, so where were we? We captured this information. A lesson learned, we're not going to forget it now. And we're going to go crank this guy. See if we can't get our alternating checkboxes. That's exactly what we got. Oh, so look at this. We are in a good place. So we got input type with the appropriate labels, and they're arguing. All right, let's do a little bit of cleanup here. We don't need these anymore. All right, this thing's not doing anything for us. We do have our for loop. We are going to need that. Div, let's do some, we're not debugging that anymore. Let's indent a little what we need to indent. This is the end for loop. It's a for loop end. We don't need the numbers here either. Oops, that's not happy. Get rid of this, I guess. There we go. Why does it look out of position? Did I invert them? Oh, I'm putting the checkbox first. We should have the label first. There we go. Flip. Yeah, look at that. That's great. All right. Well, the connection is not great tonight. We solved what we need to solve, so I think I'm going to let it go for the evening. Thank you, everyone, for checking this out, and I will see you all tomorrow.